So now we'll get to Grischuk versus MVL. And Grischuk prepared this the morning of the game. Knight c3 and d4, a favorite of Magnus. And the point is, white plays b3, bishop b2 castles. And the other point is, it's not going to be a dragon. So instead of playing 25 moves to theory, which technically would help Grischuk because he's so slow, he gets Maxime out of prep. But I think Maxime knew this line because Magnus has played it. And Grischuk was trying to remember the line that he had studied that morning. And after the game, Maxime said, "Why didn't you remember the theory?" And Grischuk obviously said, "Je regrette, mais je forget." And then MVL said, "D'accord." Okay, that happened too. Tom does gaming. Okay. That's right. You Grischuk me all night long. Spencer made a song up about, I think, Grischuk, like what you just did, from, what's the stupid song? It's the stupidest song ever. Damn, that's saying something. Thanks for the sub, Yoni Man. What's that stupid song? Party. I think it's by LMFAO. What am I talking about? What song am I talking about? Party Rock Anthem? Yeah. And then Spencer had put his lyrics in with Grischuk. Some of them, I don't know, like the main lyric, he put Grischuk in there, which made sense. Yeah. Every day I'm Grischuk. That's not it. Okay, so bishop h6 attacking the queen. f4. Good. And it's just, people are on their own. And in this position, I think Grischuk said he had this on his board the morning, preparing for the game, and he forgot what he was prepared. He played here. He wasn't sure if he prepared that. That was the best he could come up with. Okay, so this is great for both players, and it's great for us. Opposite side castling often means somebody's going to win. Tom does gaming. Thank you. Yeah. I have not. I'll have to ask Spencer. He's in New York now visiting his sister. She's probably not watching the stream. Dr. Evergarden subscribed. Starting the train. Another train. Thanks, Tom Does Gaming and Dr. Evergarden and the third person who started the train. If you can call them a person. Yodi Man. All right. Now, the last train was shallow and pedantic. So this train has to go to like 900% on level 5, and then I'll forgive you. Okay. So bishop e6. The engine wants to play bishop g4 all the time and put pressure, but generally bishop g4 is going to lead to you getting rid of your bishop. And, two bishops, what else? Knight g4 threatening knight f2. Engine likes that too, but that's too, beginner for, a super GM. They're like, that's what a beginner would do. Also, I talked to Brian Boitano, and he said he would do that also. Yeah. And then he said he would kick an ass or two. And I was like, wow. Yeah. If he was here right now, he'd kick an ass or two. That's what Brian Boitano do. That's a great song. Can't beat that song. I heard it a couple days ago. Like when I say, what would Morphe do? I'm obviously referencing that song, frankly. Anyway, I told that to Hikaru, and he said, what? 500 centidues, farty party. 100 centidues, Heiser Heinz. Hooray! Go Moobot. 100 centidues, chugga chugga woo woo from Cheesehead. Anonymous cheerer, 1,000 centidues. Probably Hikaru. Probably. Yes, South Park movie was great. I can't talk about the scene in the South Park movie, but you'll know what it is if you've seen the movie. I can't say what, because on stream. The kids are looking for something the whole movie because Chef told them to, by accident. And eventually they find it. It's like a giant, Can't say what it is. Anyway, and then when I saw the South Park movie, which I saw in California. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I saw it in California. There was a couple sitting in front of me to the left. The guy was on the floor laughing. I've never seen somebody on the floor laughing. He fell out of his seat. And his girlfriend or wife, probably girlfriend, was looking at him like, ugh, horrible. She was furious. Doric the Cat gifted 5 subs. Yeah. What would Brian Boitano do if he were here right now? Yeah. St. Louis Assassin. Hooray, it rhymes with Dolores. That's right. Oh, Dolores. Yeah. Yeah, somebody gives him a sub. Do as he says. Okay, back to whatever it is I was doing. Okay, always play King B1. I wonder who won this game. The guy who played King B1 or the guy who didn't? Okay, everybody's attacking everybody. Good, good. Put it in H. So this is funny. If I was playing a blitz or a bullet game, I'm taking white all day, all night, and twice on Sunday. And the engine prefers black here. Like, when I look at the position with my average to weak Grandmaster eyes, I think white is an attack and black doesn't. But the engine looks with the engine eyes. Hungry engine eyes. And it says black is slightly better. Okay, so Queen F2 is an engine move, a move I wouldn't consider. He played Rook A C8, which I would consider. Put it in H. So this is funny. Before the game, Grischuk was talking to one of his coaches, like how to play the game. And coaches weren't helping him. So he talked to Sylvester Stallone, Rocky. And he said, Rocky, what do I do? And Rocky said, go for it. So that's what happened. We'll bust you up. Go for it. That's the best line the writers can write. Did Rocky write Rocky 3? Did Sylvester Stallone write that? Mr. T says, I'm going to bust you up. And he says, go for it. That's the best they could do. Terrible. Man, no wonder that's the worst Rocky. We all agree Rocky 3 is the worst, right? Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. Now, obviously, Mr. T's acting is beyond reproach. Sort of like Homer's hygiene. Yeah. Man, what a great episode. Danny DeVito plays Herb, his half-brother. Now, I want you to call back and say the opposite of what you said. Hey, kids, come here. I want you to hear this. Homer Simpson's hygiene is beyond reproach. Yeah. No, Mortal Kombat, I'm an adult. Yeah. I didn't switch back to the old camera. It's the same camera. Do you guys know what zoom is? And no, you don't. All right. There's no Rocky 5. Rocky V. Yeah. Yeah, I like the Hulk Hogan scene. Yeah. Yeah, any Rocky after 4 just seems like garbage to me. Like all of it. Okay. Rocky, you can't win. There's no air on Mars. Well, then there's no air for him either. Family Guy. Okay, knight takes h5, forced. g3, good, good. Now he can put it in h. There's a lot of stuff on the h file for that rook to hover over. The engine likes black because the engine defends better than perfect. But if you're a human, white has an attack and black doesn't. I mean, you got to open h file. f5 later, d pawn, d5. It's really difficult to play black here. The engine says knight b4 and queen f2 both give black the advantage. He played one of them. Bishop h3, putting it in h. Yay, thanks, Steve Condi. You're the best person who ever lived until somebody donates more. More, more. There are no more donations, and there never will be. More. We pay the editor by the hour. On my way to karaoke. Yay, go Karen. That is true. Yeah. The best Rocky is when they watch Rocky 4, the Russian version on Family Guy. That's the best Rocky. Yeah. I must break you. If he dies, he dies. Good acting. Yeah. All right. By the way, in a Woody Allen movie, either Annie Hall or Manhattan, I don't remember, but one of them, he's on the subway and these tough guys are causing trouble, and just before the doors close, Woody Allen pushes them out and the doors close. And he's like a hero, then the doors open and they come in. The point of that story was one of the tough guys is Sylvester Stallone when he wasn't a known person. It was before everything, before Rocky. So remember that. I don't know if it was Annie Hall or Manhattan. Probably Annie Hall. Yeah. If he dies, he dies. I will break you. It's Annie Hall. That's what I think. Yeah. Okay. So he took on H3. The engine does not like that. It really, really hates this move. I mean, it helps White attack. White's going to double and triple on the H file. So, yeah, it says it's still okay. It likes Rook C6 to double up on the bubble up and defend the D pawn. Can't argue with that. Okay, Grischuk played the right move. The engine isn't a big fan of that move either. It always wants to play Queen F2. G4, great. And then this is considered better. It's hard to understand why he went here. I guess after takes, he was worried he'd just lose on the 8 on this file, and here he would be defending for a little bit. So, and it really hates this move. It wants to play knight G4. And after F5, the engine says White's basically winning. So it doesn't like this knight F6 to H5 wasting time when Grischuk goes forward. So now White's winning, and there were some mistakes later, probably in time trouble. Never play F6. Okay. Now in this position, play D5, which is a very bad move. Takes, takes, takes. H5, that's good. Queen E2. Taking on Poisson is also winning. Rook C5. Yeah, and I'll show you where there's a big mistake. So in this position, after Rook C5, the engine is not a fan of what he did. It just wants to defend this pawn with Queen E4 or Queen G2, or Queen F3, and the pawn's defended. But he thought, you take the pawn, I'm going to beat you anyway, but he's wrong. So Grischuk thought this was immediately winning, and then he just crashes through on the H file. But he miscalculated or something. Okay, so Queen D6. Now, I think the best move is King A2, stopping Rook D1 check. But he did play King A2. Good. Okay. And then after Rook D1, Rook takes H5, pawn takes H5. And in this position, the last few moves have been pretty good considering, the time trouble. And now Grischuk has to find the impossible win. And he didn't find it. Only an engine would find it. If a human played it, I would tell chess.com, and because of who I am, they would ban them. They wouldn't even use they would just say, okay, Ben said so. The winning move is to keep the rook here on the H file so we can mate you. And so it wants to play Rook H3 because you can't attack the rook anywhere. And the next move is Queen takes and mate. And Black's defense to this is insane. The only way for Black not to resign is to go here. That's the only move. That way we can try to trade queens and not get mated. So King takes is a draw because Queen D1 check and the ending is a drawn ending. It's equal material, Rook and Bishop each. So if you want to win, you take with the bishop, okay, obviously. And now Queen D1's the only move, and you can't do anything here anymore because it's defended. And it says White has a big advantage after this. Maybe winning, maybe not. White's a pawn up, this pawn's weak. I would think Grischuk would win this. That's what I think. and the engine only says 1.4. I think it's more than that. All right. So rook h3, probably winning, but who's going to play rook h3? He played the obvious move, rook h5. You can't take with the queen, because then rook takes rook is winning for black. And now black wants to play queen h2 and mate. And what's funny is there's only one move that's good here, and he found it. I don't know how he found it. All I know is I wouldn't have found it. And what's funny is this was the winning move that I missed, or winning idea against Ray Robson in Game 6 of our match from 2011. I played a move that hung mate, and instead I could have put my rook on this diagonal blocking the bishop and I would be winning, but I didn't see the mate. But somehow he found it. Rook d4. Great move. Now the bishop is shallow and pedantic. And the other idea, which is impossible to see for me, because I'm no good, is rook takes check. So if queen h2 with unstoppable mate, now it's a draw. Unbelievable. Takes, queen d5, queen e6 check. Queen d5 check actually loses. Because king b1, queen here. But now we have rook b1. So this is the only move that doesn't lose. Bishop c1, this is all forced. Queen b6 check. This hangs mate, so king here, and then always repeat. And if white doesn't want to get mated, he's got to go here and repeat. Now again, nobody's going to see that. I guess MVL saw it. Otherwise, rook d4 doesn't make any sense. So MVL knew when he played here, if queen h2, he would do that. Because there's no other reason to play rook d4. After queen h2, you resign if you don't see that. And obviously in this position, I think Grischuk thought, I'm winning, I'm Grischuk, look at me, I'm good at poker and bridge and, chess, and, I have funny press conferences, and this is the first game I'm going to win in the tournament, and I'm going to ruin MVL's chances. That's what he was thinking. MVL was thinking Arby's. And he didn't see that, obviously, because if he did, he would have played another way. You can't blame him. Who's going to see that? The answer, MVL. Pretty good. MVL was the MVP. Now, if I was black, I would play this, for sure. And then after here, I can't stop checkmate, then I would resign. Oh well, truth hurts. So rook d4 stops this and threatens that. So MVL's good. Okay, rook h1, and then queen h2 wins because he's defending the bakro. Why is he defending the bakro? Because his opponent is MVL. So Grischuk defends the bakro. And now if he plays here, that don't work because you don't have any back rank checks because my rook is here. So now I'm threatening to go here and you resign. The only move that doesn't lose is rook takes a4 check, and he played it. Okay, and now this loses in a shallow and pedantic way. Queen d5 check and takes the rook. So you have to play king b1. Obviously, Grischuk knows my rules. Always play king b1. He played king b1. Now he played it again, and that's why he won the game, obviously. He kept playing king b1. Yeah. Now I'm threatening queen h2 with forced checkmate. And in this position, he made a very bad move, queen d5. He actually can draw here. Unbelievable. And it's just really hard to see. Rook h4. God damn. But he's in time trouble. And the idea is just to get the rook off of d1. And then the engine says this is a draw and ending. I would think white's better. I would. But the engine says white's not better. It says this is a draw because I go here. And then it says always play king b1, draw. And if you play here, winning this pawn for this pawn, it says this is a draw also. It says this is all zero, which I believe. That makes sense to me. So MVL in time trouble could have played rook h4 and drew. He played this move with the idea of sacking his queen. This way MVL could still win and he could still lose, but winning is good because he's trying to win the tournament. And the engine says black is worse here. That's the engine move. That's the engine move. That move is not liked by the engine. And again, he's in time trouble. There's just no way to see this. Rook e8's the engine move. And the reason this isn't good is because after here, sacrificing the bishop, which he didn't take, I check on g2, and you're going to lose your rook. Your rook is loose. The king moves to the h-file, and queen check wins the rook. Again, they're in time trouble, so probably after here, he just didn't think that was possible. He thought the bishop would be saved, and he'd move his b-pawn or something. So that's too bad. Okay. And now he's lost. This skewer doesn't work, by the way, because, either rook can check. The skewer is the best move, actually. The engine likes bishop f4. Okay. Now, there was a big thing on the internet saying in this position, bishop a3 check drew, and MVL instantly played rook takes c2 check, even though he's made the time control. And Grischuk said, I was going to go for a walk and walk around, go to the bathroom, but I wanted to play here and sit there and hope he just took back immediately. If he gets up and walks, that would indicate his opponent has more than one legal move. This is complicated psychology for you guys, because anything's complicated for you guys. So if somebody gets up and walks away and you have one legal move, that doesn't make any sense. You're going to make the one legal move, so why did they walk away? But if you have 20, 30 options, they're going to walk away and you're going to think 10 minutes. So if he got up, he would think, why is he getting up when I have to go here? And then he would find that and he would play that. On the internet, they said this was a draw. Then they said it wasn't. Then they said it was. They said it wasn't. The point is, this is much better. It doesn't matter if it draws. It's just the best move. You can't take this because your queen's hanging, so you defend your, you probably king b1 again. And this position is much better than this position. Much better, because the king can now escape. And in the game, the bishop was here, so black lost a tempo. And that tempo, he just completely lost. There is a 7-piece table base, which should tell you whether this is a win or a draw. That would have taken me seconds to find out, so I didn't look it up. Doesn't matter if this is a draw or not. I mean, it matters to MVL and Grischuk. What matters is bishop a3 is a lot better than rook takes c2 check. You just gain a tempo. And you might draw, you might lose, and by taking right away, you just lose. He just didn't see bishop a3 because he moved too quickly, even though he had tons of time, and this is typical MVL. He moves too quickly sometimes, and then he loses as a result. Grischuk missed mate on queen ha. No, don't give analysis. Just donate, because when you put analysis in the chat, it's wrong. Okay, queen h8 hung the queen, so you just hung all your pieces, right? Don't ever give lines in the chat. Okay, so in this position, queen h5 threatens mate, and after takes, it's not mate because I could take your queen with two different pieces, and you're in check. So that was the most wrong you've ever been, ever. Nobody's ever been that wrong. You suggested an illegal move which hangs the queen. I mean, frankly, ridiculous. All right. I'll do the analysis. You guys do the donating. You don't even do that very well. So, all right. So rook takes c2 is a blunder. And now he's lost. And after here, maybe he's lost. That's up for the table base to decide. Yeah. Right. The spleen shot subscribed. Hooray! Yeah. Here's another line. He drew a line. That was good. Yeah. It's not his fault. He's in the chat. So if he suggests a move, it's going to be wrong. That's what you guys do. You guys are like, oh, why didn't he go here? Why didn't a 2800 player play mate in one against their 2800 player? Why did they both miss it? Now, here's something you guys will never understand, and I've told you every stream. The people who are the top 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 in the world, they're so good that it's beyond your understanding. And there are people like Tanya Sachdev who are very good at chess. She's probably GM strength. She's an IM, but probably GM strength. who also don't understand. And so, and there's a lot of people like that. I understand, but I have an advantage over Tanya. I'm 1,000 years old and she's not. So I've seen Kasparov analyze in person. I've seen Kramnik analyze in person. And my dad told me about Fischer because he analyzed with him. And I've seen Anand analyze in person. If she wants to watch, Tanya, if she wants to watch Kasparov, Anand, and Kramnik analyze, they can't analyze anymore. They're 100 years old. Okay? So and then Carlson doesn't do that. So occasionally, you guys will see somebody really good, maybe Hikaru, maybe Grischuk, and they're analyzing a lot. And you're like, wow, I would never see what they see so quickly. And they don't see anywhere near what Kramnik, Anand, Fischer, and Kasparov saw. I saw Kasparov analyze, and I just cry when I think about it, right? It's like if God analyzed, if God was better. Like if God upped his game a little, like he existed, right? So God has to exist first, then he has to take some lessons, then you can analyze like Kasparov. But now those guys are old, so it was funny when Grischuk, you got to watch the Grischuk video, you have to. Grischuk analyzed the game that he drew with, who did he draw? He was black against, it was yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago. Who did Grischuk draw? Wang Hao. So go to the internet, go to YouTube, find the game Wang Hao's White against Grischuk, where Grischuk does the interview. Just the interview. And then Grischuk analyzes lots of variations to checkmate and to the end of the game, and it's really complicated. And you guys will be like, wow, that's amazing. But Kasparov, Fischer, Anand, Kramnik, they do that. I mean, that's nothing to them. But I mean, now they can't do it because one's dead and three of them, play chess like they're dead. But when they were good at their peak, it's insane how good they are. It doesn't make any sense. And if you saw it, you'd be like, what is this? This isn't what I do. I look for legal moves and I play an illegal move. Okay, now, an analogous situation to how good chess players are that's beyond your understanding. I'm a bridge player. I came third in the nationals. I've won a regional. I have a lot of master points. If you give me a chess rating, I'm 1800 at bridge. Okay, so I was reading a bridge column where it was asked, what would you bid? And they ask all the best players in the world, what would you bid? They give you a hand and then they get vote. Okay, so one guy said, I have to abstain. I can't give an answer because my partner held this hand 25 years ago. That's beyond comprehension. That doesn't make any sense. And then the editor said, yeah, he's right. If you play bridge, then you'll know you don't remember your partner's hand from 25 years ago. That's what you know. And there was another instance where a top player called the director over, this is another story, and said, we've played this hand before. And he said, no, you didn't, because he's the director. He wants to show. He says, yeah, we played this hand before. And he said, okay, if you can tell me your partner's hand, then I'll believe you. Then he proceeded to name all 13 cards in all three players' hands. If you paid me to do that, I couldn't do it. I might say their distribution, like yes, and then the director's like, oh, because they passed the boards wrong. All right. Sorry if this is too complicated for you, but I mean, what isn't? All right. So now we have an extra passed pawn. The king can't get over there. My king is more advanced. I'm drawing more arrows for white than for black. So white's winning. Now, because the king can't get over anymore, he did this. He wants to take this pawn, sack his bishop for this pawn, draw. And he's not getting that pawn. He can get that pawn, but he's not getting that pawn. You can get one, but you can't get both. And then, here comes the pawn. And here he resigned, which confuses you guys. But if you turn on your engines, you'll be less confused. Much less. My engine's been on for 10 seconds. It says plus 49 for white. So that means if a good engine with a lot of cores, it would announce mate here. In fact, this is table base, so it's probably like mate in 36 or something. So he resigned because he can't sack his bishop for the pawn because it's too lost. He has to stop the pawn, but then this pawn can't be defended. So there's just no hope here. My king's coming in, and if you stop me, then my king will go that way, and you can't, nothing you can do. So he resigned here. Now it says plus 60. Plus 60 means it sees that white's getting a queen. The engine sees by force it's getting a queen. Now, if you're a lower rated player, which you are, never resign these positions. Never. Never. In fact, never resign any position. But if you're top players in the world and it's a slow game and your opponent's 2,800, then you can resign. But you don't have permission to resign positions like this. Ridiculous. I've never been so angry. Also, if white goes here, then black's never been so angry. And the bishop has to stop the king from coming in, so there's nothing you can do. I'll give you a sample variation because you seem like nice people. Again, every move wins, so I'll just play one of them. King d5, black's in Wang Chung. I'll just make a random move, I don't know. b6, attack the whatever that is. Yeah, here, it doesn't matter. Every move wins. Trading bishops is an easily winning king and pawn ending. All right, nothing's easier. And so let's play bishop here, I guess. I don't know. And then if we go here, obviously the game's over because I'm going to queen. So if you take, it's the same deviled egg. Yeah. Papa John's. And there's a lot of variations like that, but they're all ridiculous. So that's Grischuk's first win of the event. And MVL's having a very bad second half. He was tied for first a week ago, and now he's tied with Grischuk for fourth. According to what I saw, Grischuk has better tie breaks. I guess because Grischuk beat MVL. So he went from first place to fifth place like that, son.